What's up everyone, it's Scotty with Money Investing. In this video, I wanted to go over the special rebalancing of the NASDAQ 100 that takes place on July 24th, which is obviously going to be very important for the market. More importantly, it's going to be important for the shareholders of that ETF, the NASDAQ 100 ETF, because it is going to reduce the weighting of those specific stocks of the big tech and magnificent seven and increase the weighting of some of the other stocks. And we'll talk about why that's happening, how the process is going to look like, and what that means for the market. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and find it helpful. Make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're just joining us for the first time. The link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below if you're interested in joining, and of course getting access to all the buy and sell alerts, options alerts, trade ideas. Everything's going to be included, as well as the intrinsic value spreadsheets and a lot of other tutorials and educational videos and individual stock analysis and stocks that I'm buying, portfolio update videos for on our Patreon as well for members only. So link's going to be down below with that 16% annual discount expiring at the end of this month. So when we talk about the NASDAQ 100, it is a very tech focused, as I'm sure you all already know. The Magnificent Seven have grown to a disproportionate share of over 59 to 62%. So you can see that incredible rallies this year have resulted in the NASDAQ 100 to be very concentrated. As you can see, Microsoft making up almost 13%, Apple a little bit over 12%, Nvidia up over 7.4 now. The weighting, that's the weighting within the NASDAQ 100. Amazon just under 7%, Tesla's over 4.5%, Meta's over 4.4%, Google's over 3.6%, 3.5%, Broadcom 2.4%, PepsiCo 1.6%, and overall the top 10 weights are a little bit under 60%. Now, the reason why this is actually happening, and this is the performance of the NASDAQ 100, so it's up over 45% on a year-to-date basis with respect to its relative benchmarks. Again, the net asset value is also up 45%. So, tremendous gains for the NASDAQ, and obviously big tech and the Magnificent Seven are to blame, because not only have the NASDAQ rallied so much, they have gone up so much so fast that they have disproportionately concentrated the NASDAQ 100 within themselves, right? So they are worth like close to 60% of the NASDAQ 100, so it's not diversified anymore. And as a result of that concentration, the SEC, basically the Securities Exchange Commission, there's a specific law which is violated, and that is to say that if the NASDAQ 100, if any index for that matter, but in this case the NASDAQ 100, if there are 48% of its constituents, right? So 48% of the stocks within the NASDAQ 100, if they are making up over 4.5% of the index, it needs to be rebalanced, right? So after Tesla's rally, after what we have seen, so it's another indication of the top heavy quality of the markets at the moment. And NASDAQ announced it would conduct a, quote, special rebalancing of its NASDAQ 100 index prior to the trading on July 24th, and that would reduce the degree to which the NASDAQ 100's performance is determined by this elite club of seven tech giants: Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla, and Meta. And as described in the published index methodology, a special rebalance may be conducted to address overconcentration in the index by redistributing the weights. So that's really what it is. It's this overconcentration in these Magnificent Seven stocks, tech stocks, and they're just going to redistribute that weight among some of the other companies as well. And the special rebalancing will not result in the removal or addition of any securities. And the methodology spells out that when any group of big stocks, all those making up more than 4.5% of the index, amounts to more than 48% of the index, then the index will be rebalanced. So that is where this comes in, where so obviously these group of stocks make up over 4.5% of the index, making up more than 48% of the index, in fact, close to 59 to 62%. And as a result, they will obviously be affected in a way that they will have their weightings reduced. Now, having your weightings reduced is not the same as having stocks sold off. There's a big difference. There might be a little bit of that misconception that, hey, just because we're going to see the weightings come down, that means these stocks are going to get sold. Not true. What's going to happen is probably they're going to simply change up the formula in the way that they calculate these weightings for these companies within the NASDAQ 100. And obviously that's going to reduce the weighting of these stocks within the index, and it's going to increase the weighting of some of the other companies, it's just a formulation of calculating the weighting of these companies, which is going to be a little bit more favorable for the other companies, and they're going to get knocked down a little bit for these companies, so that once again they're back under that 48% threshold. So I think the idea is for these companies to go from about 48% or close to 50% down to 43%. So we're going to see about a 5 to 8% reduction in the weighting of these companies altogether, and of course that's going to be redistributed to some of the other companies, such as Broadcom, such as PepsiCo, such as some of the other companies that are in the NASDAQ 100. Now, this right here, again, on July 21st, which is today, as of the time I'm recording this video, NASDAQ will announce the index share announcement and pro forma file release. So that's something to keep in mind for later today, and this will provide investors with information on the new weights of the index's constituents. And on July 24th, which is again going to be next week, which is Monday, the special rebalance will become effective. And on this date, the weight of the index constituents will be adjusted to reflect the new information. And investors who hold ETF or other investment products that track the NASDAQ 100 may experience some volatility in their portfolios on July 24th. This is because the rebalancing process will cause the weights of the index constituents to change. Again, it's not buying or selling. None of the securities will be removed. It will not remove any stocks from the indexes, as it says. The rebalance will only affect the weight of the index constituents and just the calculation and how they're calculated within their index in terms of their market cap. And the rebalancing is designed to ensure the NASDAQ 100 index remains a representative benchmark of the largest NASDAQ listed non-financial companies, and the rebalancing is not a reflection of the performance of any individual stock or sector. And investors who hold ETFs or other investors that hold ETFs or any other investment products that track the NASDAQ 100 index should monitor their portfolios closely on July 24th as well. So that's gonna be what's gonna happen on July 24th. So QQQ right now could come under some volatility here. Again, it's all a matter of rebalancing the entire portfolio, which is just the index itself, and also being able to reduce these Magnificent Sevens concentration in the index, and of course redistributing that to some of the other parts of the index as well, so that we are once again not in violation of that rule from the SEC of this group of stocks making up over 48% of the index. So that's going to be it. But QQQ's 21 EMA is going to be that level to watch. Again, there could be some volatility in the markets going into next week. Today, we're going to get that press release. We're going to find out, okay, which stocks are going to get affected and what their revised weighting is going to look like in the NASDAQ 100. But that 21 EMA sitting at 371 is going to be the level to watch. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a bit of a dip here, 1.3% pullback, and that's going to be a reasonable dip from its recent highs of 388 down to 371, about a 4.5% pullback for the NASDAQ 100 as well. And of course, if you do see a breakdown below this level, then we got to obviously be very careful, be mindful and cautious about more potential downside and even a reasonable correction and some profit taking from the markets as well, considering that these tech stocks have done really well. They have rallied quite a bit in a very short period of time. In the last 6 months, we've seen significant moves to the upside among these Magnificent Seven, of course, big tech companies. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful. This is going to be a very quick update going over the rebalancing and how that's going to play out. But overall, it's just a reduction in the market cap, the formulation of how the index is created and calculated in terms of weights, and it's going to be redistributed to some of the other companies out there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful. If you did, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below if you're interested in joining us. There's a 16% annual discount available till the end of this month. As always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.